Now this brings me to when I got COVID last year. My husband Ron and I took this extended train trip vacation across the United States. But I have to tell you, there was a week there, I wasn't sure if I was going to make it. Hi YouTube friends, Doreen here from Doreen's Food Prep Resource. Hey, I wanted to jump on YouTube here and just kind of tackle a topic that's in the news right now. It has to do with food contaminations, recalls, that type of thing. And I think that it's pretty timely. I am hesitant about bringing up the topic in a video only because it can be rather boring. But this has to do with foodborne illnesses. And I think that as we move forward and we're starting to see less food in the stores, people might start to panic, manufacturers might start cutting corners, and contamination of food may start to rise. So I think it's important to address the topic now. An issue close to home happened last week. A friend of mine took my advice, went to Walmart, purchased several 4-pound bags of frozen hash browns, got them home, dehydrated them, vacuum sealed them, got them put away. A few days later, he receives this email from Walmart. When you receive an email like that, you can become very concerned. Now, I knew a little bit already about Listeria, but I did a little bit more research, sent him some information, and that is really what made me decide perhaps I should put a video together so that way people can understand what foodborne illness is and how it can affect people with underlying health conditions.
Listeria. If you know you're a high risk, avoid unpasteurized dairy and fruit juices. Who's high risk? Elderly, pregnant women, unborn and newborn babies, people like me with weakened immune system. Botulism. It's very rare. Bacteria only survives in non-oxygen conditions like home canned foods. Always cook or boil for at least 10 minutes before eating. Okay, a lot of data is coming at you over the next 5 slides, but hang with me. I'm going to go through them quickly, and it is very important that you know about these. Clostridium Perfringens. Cook your food, especially beef and poultry, thoroughly and put leftovers in the refrigerator within 2 hours of preparing. So large pots of stew and soup should be divided. Don't put a big pot of hot soup in the refrigerator. It cannot cool down quick enough and bacteria will grow. So the rule of thumb is if it smells bad, looks bad, tastes bad, get rid of it. If in doubt, throw it out. Norovirus can be found in vomit and poop, can be in your system for 2 weeks after you feel better, can remain on surfaces for 7 days. You basically feel like garbage, and it's highly contagious. Salmonella. Get the gross meter going. This bacteria lives in animals and humans' intestines. Most recover in a few days and think they had the flu. Same prevention as Listeria. And yes, it can survive in freezing temperatures. Campylobacter bacteria. Infection by raw or uncooked chicken or something it touched. This bacteria can cause GBS, which affects the nervous system. 1 drop of raw chicken juice can infect you. It's normally not contagious. Proper care of cutting boards is important. Disinfect your cutting boards by either using vinegar, bleach, or peroxide. For me, I use peroxide. Staph. Contamination from improper food temperatures. Staph toxins may be present, but there's no sign of spoilage. Dehydration by vomit and diarrhea is the most common issue, so forcing clear fluids is vital. Best prevention, keep meat separate and refrigerate as soon as you get home from the store. So what's my best advice? Store your foods properly and reheat your food for 10 minutes or until 140 degrees is reached to kill bacteria. Keep cold foods chilled at 40 degrees or below. Keep hot foods hot at 140 plus degrees. Try to use the color-coded cutting boards if possible. Try to stay healthy.
Now on to a little bit more of a controversial part of this video. So to explain a little bit of my thought process, I have to kind of explain a little bit about my past health issue. I was in my early 50s and I started having tremendous body aches. And it got so bad that I could barely go up and down the stairs. I had gone to the doctor numerous times, 4 or 5 times for about a 5-year period. And every time I saw him, he would run the test, do blood tests, all that, and then send me home with a bottle of Vicodin, telling me I just had inflammation and I had to deal with it. Never could answer, well, why do I have inflammation? This was very frustrating for me. And I remember one time it had gotten so bad. I cried out to God and I just said, really, this is it? I'm in my 50s and this is what the rest of my life is going to be like? Well, things changed for me pretty quickly after that. And I ended up going to see an alternative doctor. It was my brother's doctor. He had been going through some health issues himself, and she helped take care of a lot of his issues. So I thought, well, maybe she could help me. So I went to go see her, and she did every test under the sun: hair, saliva, urine, poo, everything. This was a costly visit, I can tell you, but really it was priceless because we were able to get down to a lot of problems that I had been having. The hair tests came back and showed that I was in extremely high levels of aluminum, so high that the chart didn't go that high. I think the chart went to 4 and I was like a 4.5. There were several other issues I won't get into, but we narrowed it down to a flu shot I received in 1994, and we found that out through electrodermal screening. She put me on a program, and within a year, I was 90% better. Now, my immune system is still weakened because in 2016, I was in the hospital for a week with pneumonia. Now, this brings me to when I got COVID last year. My husband Ron and I took this extended train trip vacation across the United States. Now, everything was great. We had a wonderful time. We were tired. It was a very fast-moving trip. And a couple days before the end of our trip, Ron ended up getting sniffles and a low-grade fever. Now, we didn't think anything of it. We were probably exhausted. A couple days later, we're on the train coming home. In the morning time, I woke up with sniffles and a low-grade fever. By the end of the day, I had body aches that were awful. I had to stay in the cabin for the rest of the trip. And when I got home, I wasn't sure if I was going to make it. I was so sick. I was able to get the items that I needed from my doctor, but I have to tell you, there was a week there, I wasn't sure if I was going to make it. It took me about 5 weeks to recover from that COVID. Now compare that with my husband Ron, who's 11 years older than me. He's the one that should have been more susceptible to the COVID than myself. But you see, his immune system is great. Mine was not. Therefore, it hit me worse. So I know with my weakened immune system, I have to be careful of everything I do. And foodborne illness is something that everyone with a compromised immune system really has to be careful of. We have to be very careful how we prepare our food. Now articles are coming out linking vaccines with autoimmune deficiencies. Whether you agree with it or not, it has a potential of really creating a problem when it comes to foodborne illness. If my guess is correct and contamination of food increases, as well as those with autoimmune issues increase, we could be on a course for disaster. So what is autoimmune disorder? It's when the body's immune system turns on itself and attacks the body's healthy cells and organs. We develop autoimmune disorders. So the point of this video is simply to make people aware. If you have a weakened immune system or someone in your family, you just really have to be careful and take great care with how you store and prepare your foods. If you've stayed with me this long, Thank you, and I hope you found something important and informative, and we'll see you next time.